Welcome everyone. Welcome to ACUS for the webinar on effective communication through body language. This is the part 2 of our webinar where we will discuss about body language in detail. So as we've earlier just studied that body language is very important aspect of our non-verbal behavior. We say everybody speaks body language. Now what does this mean? Everybody speaks body language. See, whosoever the person is, from whichever culture he or she belongs to, they do have some certain body language behavior which we must learn how to study accurately. Why it is so critical in the modern world? Because I think this is the only way we signal to our audience, and that is why it is considered really critical. There are a number of actions and movements that we do through our body, and we may not be conscious of, but people, whenever talking to us, when communicating, they do observe. They pick on the minute details we do. They know whether we are nervous, whether we are confident or overconfident, whatever. So, for that purpose, we must be conscious of our body language. And yes, if you really want to understand the body language of others, then also you need to be conscious of it. Only with this, we would be able to maximize our engagement with the people around us. That is why it is considered as a tool. Now, how we say that body language speak. For that, I would speak a simple quote first. I can't expect that you will understand everything I tell you, and I can also not expect that you will understand only what I tell you. So, did you get the difference? You will, whatever I will speak, you will observe, you will understand what you would study. You would not go by my words, and you would not go by my words only. You would definitely add on details according to your own perception, according to your own study. So to make a cohesion in our words and in our actions, we must be conscious of the body language and we must know the detail about it. Our human body speaks through the conscious and unconscious movements, postures, hand gestures, whatever we make. Our words only cannot do everything. We must understand this thing, that human beings, whatever behave they do, whatever they speak, they do it in some certain context. It is not irrelevant. Whenever we talk or show any emotions and signs, we have different concepts for that. Reading the body language of others and possessing the conditioned body language in your own personality are two different aspects. Don't mix the two, because if you do it, you won't be able to differentiate that the body language you're observing in others, is it the same you also have, or you need to work upon it. You must get the difference that when you observe someone else, you like the body language of the other being as well as you dislike it. And similarly, the person in front of you is doing the same for you. So, the body language, the behavior you dislike in others, like fidgeting too much, getting nervous, just you can say removing eye contact here and there. If you don't like this in others, then you need to be conscious that you are not supposed to do the same. This is an art which we need to acquire through practice. Body language. If I say the major aspects which we are going to study here would be gestures, postures, and facial expressions. Other than that, we have these four important aspects which are equally important when we actually wish to study our body language and we wish to study the body language of others. PROXEMICS, HAPTICS, OCULESICS, and OCULESICS. This you have already started, I would say a bit of idea you've got in the previous video. So now we would do it in this way, that we would read it in detail. So first we would begin with the body language of gestures. It is expressive movement of a part of body, especially hands or heads. When we talk of gestures, we make our gestures with the help of our facial expressions. That includes our eyes, our lips, as well as the head nodding and the hands. We do fidgeting, we do hand waves, we shake hands, we do so many things. So the gestures specifically are shown by these. It has a vital effect or communication, and they convey too much, or would say much more than what the person speaks. According to British biologist Desmond Morris, people communicate in more than 3,000 gestures that you already know. So how do we can get expertise? Only if we are able to understand the gestures different. Like some of these gestures which you can see on your screens, you must be aware of. But many of the other gestures are used in different cultures for some reasons. Like you can see the palm, open palm with this, and you can see a person just raising hand, and the other person is showing victory, or the person clasping two hands is showing support. So there are many different behavioral patterns which we need to understand. So key types of gestures which we would now see. The first one is unintentional gesture. Now what does this mean? That is our ability to act. This is inhibit in us. For example, if the person has a finger in front of his mouth, that means that person is firm not to speak. In unintentional gestures, they come naturally to you. When you are folding your arms, that means you're showing some sort of behavior. Either yes, we believe that we say that the person is not interested, but it has many more interpretations as we have already discussed. So folded arms is an unintentional gestures which you do it sometimes in public, sometimes you just want to be comfortable, and these are in this way these are unintentional. Lips pressed together either when you go sad or when you go angry on some issue, or you don't want to speak at all. So this comes as an expression while watching a person on stage or in a meeting anywhere. So these comes naturally to you. Signature gestures. Signature gestures are very important. Like if you are working somewhere, so you must, if you observe in your surroundings, you can see there are people with signature gestures. They usually perform that gesture many a times a day. If you signature gesture is exactly the particular movement you do many a times, and people know you, people recognize you by that. Like some people have a habit to just speak by moving their hands too much. You can take an example of your boss. If you're working, then you can feel that somewhere, somehow you understand the behavior of your boss, that when he does this, then it means this, right? Or your colleague, or your friend, your parents, grandparents, anybody. So there are some signature gestures individual to a person. If we do have a signature gesture, just look upon it, that if you have that, is it the one which is desired or not? That you would get to know just to see yourself in front of the mirror while talking with that gesture, and you will definitely be able to make out whether that gesture is an acceptable public speaking pattern or not. Fake gestures. Many a times people fake their gestures. They are attributed to just conceal something, you want to hide something, you want to befool somebody. It is not always negative. Let me make this clear. Sometimes you are not happy with the decision of the other being, but you cannot say, or I say that you don't want to give your comment on it, or you know that your comment would not be valued, so that's why you just give a bit of fake smile on your face. Or sometimes you know that the person is not speaking the truth, and you have to somehow agree to that person. And then also you just nod your head and you just show your interest. So these are fake gestures. Many a times nowadays in public surroundings, in meetings, we do fake our gestures. We do. And that is the reality. So if you are not comfortable in faking gestures, because when you fake your gestures, it is not necessary that you are a pro, you are an expert in that. It is not, I would say, I cannot feel that everybody can do in the same way. So for that, what you can do is that understand that if you don't like something and if you are not alive with that, you cannot fake your gestures. No need to be natural then. It's even better. If you are natural, that is better than being fake. But sometimes if you think that you don't want to get yourself in trouble or anything in a public surrounding, that you just want to be calm, so you can fake it, but in your limit. Don't smile too much. Don't overdo the things. Don't overreact. Just be calm. With this way, you would be able to save the time. Micro gestures. These micro gestures are just flashes, which I would say just they frickle on your face. They just flicker it immediately. You listen to a news, sometimes a person just talking and he uses a particular word that you react to. They are shown through the eyes and mouth, widening your eyes, or sometimes just smiling. Immediately you just get a reaction on your face, and this actually gives the hint to the person what you are feeling, reality, what you are feeling in reality. Like your face and your eyes, your mouth and eyes would definitely give the other person in front of you a hint that whether you're liking his talk or not. You must have seen in your public surroundings, in wherever you are talking, that some people, when they talk, their facial expressions do not match their words. Even in news channels these days, we see the layman, when they interview a layman or somebody, the person who has no tact to face the camera, then that person is just monotonous in their words. They would just speak the word, they would just speak whatever is asked, they would give the answer to that, but their facial expressions do not go by that. They're not good at making expressions. But there are some people who, even if they are layman, they are not from the same background, they are able to express their words with their facial expressions. So these are the micro expressions which you need to practice. For that, what you can do is, the simple technique is that if you have nobody to guide you at home, you can just stand in front of a mirror. Try to make these expressions on your face, that how do you look when you show shock? How do you look when you show surprise? How do you look when you show interest? You have to practice on your own self. See, even if you go to attend any classes on body language anywhere, in any institute or any organization anywhere, there also you need to have it doing in front of the mirror. They will make you exercise. Like, for example, when we go to gym, whenever we do any exercise, there are mirrors, right, in the four corners, or there are mirrors set up somewhere, that while you do the exercise, you would see your posture. So if you want to correct something, you must keep a watch of it. If you will watch it, if only then you will be able to correct it. Every time a person cannot be with you to say that, okay, your eyes are not looking good here, or your lips are too widened, this and that. So you have to watch it regularly for at least few days. I would not say you can just improve your body language in a day or two. It requires time, but it requires your time, your practice, your dedication. Now the next one, displacement gestures. Displacement gestures, you must have seen, like people picking their pencils or pens in their mouth, or just rolling the pen in their fingers, flickering fingers many a times. So these are the, I would say, gestures which you can do most of the times in your talk. These are self-directed. You don't do it intentionally again, right? While walking something else, these gestures just pop up suddenly, and this becomes an impression of your own body language. Sometimes you have energy, you have too much of energy that you are just talking to somebody and you have a pen in your hand and just keep on rolling it while talking. So they just add on to your body language. So these are a few reactions which we do genuinely. These comes naturally to us. Universal gestures. Universal gestures are those gestures which are widely accepted and the same in all different cultures. See, in body language, yes, we do have cultural differences, we do have gender differences also. In some cultures, like when they bow in front of somebody, then it is a sign that they are welcoming you. But in some cultures, just when you hug the other person or you shake the hand, this is considered as you are welcoming them. So there are differences, but there are some universal gestures which are same everywhere. Whether a person is a foreigner, whether a person is an Indian or from any other country, happiness, confusion, sadness, surprise, anger, excitement, these are same for everybody. Be it any culture, be it any country, these would be same. If a person is happy, you could connect to that person. You would be able to feel that. The body language of gestures, as we have just studied the different types of gestures, now we would just understand how we make these minor details. Handshakes and arm movements, shoulder movements, then roll of fingers and thumb. This is another way of classifying all those gestures which we have just studied. So as you can see, handshakes. See, a firm handshake is required when you are welcoming the person or when you are showing your engagement. You need to be warm, you need to be firm in that handshake. So if you do this way, then definitely the person would just imbibe the idea that you are liking him or her. All the other types are mentioned here. These are different. Like you would get to know whether you are showing support to the person. Like if the first one is manipulative handshake. In a manipulative handshake, your person will easily get to know that the other being is not at all in a fair position. Sometimes you are not happy or you are not interested in the person. So that would be a limp fish. And the bone crusher is again a too strong handshake, which is not good to handle. So your handshakes say a lot, many things about you. Now, how they say the things louder than words. See, whether people are speaking or not, their hand gestures, they are very important and they say so many things about their nonverbal behavior. Our brain gives a disproportionate amount of attention to the fingers and hands compared to the rest of the bodies. When you are shaking hand to somebody, if you have ever noticed, your concentration is on your hands, and when the person touches your hands, you immediately get to know about the intentions. Even if you admit it or not, you get to know about the intentions of the person, the vibes, the words we use and we do not give importance. Vibes, gut feeling, intuition, these comes and these do matter. Always believe in all these things. Shoulder shrugs. You must have seen shoulder shrugs many times. A shoulder shrug is probably the most commonly used gesture, or you've seen that when a person say that, okay, why would I do this, right? I don't want to do it. I'm not a part of it. So these are some of the shoulder shrugs. When someone gets just startled, they just instinctively raise their shoulders to protect their neck and head. So the basis of the shrug is a defensive reaction. Basically, we are protecting ourselves, not from something physical, but if somebody is imposing something on us that we don't want to do, we don't want to be a part of, then we do this shoulder shrug, that we are not a part of it, we are not interested, and we can do this. For experience from the context that others use it in, you probably have a general idea about what it is, right? So it basically shows helplessness, or I would say not even concerned. I say, I don't know, I can't do anything about it, I don't want to do it. Please don't just impose it upon me. It's not my fault. So this type of a shrug is very common, and it's not at all a negative gesture. When people take it, no, it's not a negative gesture. If you do it, that means you are simply telling the person that you are not interested or you don't know. There is nothing wrong if you show your gestures cleanly to the people. Rather, hiding your real emotions is always bad. But showing them, talking loud, it's good. If you are just showing everything through your gestures, this is always considered natural. Now, finger and thumb, these also play a very important role. See, when thumbs up, we all know the meaning of thumbs up, right? We just take it as a sign of motivation, take it as a sign of likeness. And the other side, interlaced fingers, this is also another way of showing concern, firm determination, I would say, right? So they also say a lot of information. Many times when the person is in authority, you must have seen him or her doing this. Next in the line is facial expressions. This is very important to understand. Our face is the index of our soul. You must have heard this, right? So why we say this? As I've just given you the example of a layman facing camera in front of a news reporter, he or she may be speaking the truth. He or she may be showing the real pain. But when their facial expressions do not go with their words, then that cannot be taken credible. We do not take it in that way. We feel that either they have hired them or there must be some sort of discrepancy. So your facial expressions are very important, even more than the other gestures, because the person who's talking to you would definitely see your face at the first instance. Aikman and Friesen, they have noted major 6 facial expressions which are universal as well, which you've just read. Happy, sad, disgusted, angry, afraid, and surprised. So here are some pictures which are showing each and every emotion. Don't overdo your expressions. Always keep this in mind. Even if you are happy, there are ways to be neutral. Even if you are surprised, you can be neutral. In fear, you can be calm. While feeling disgust, you can keep your disgust up to yourself, that you don't need to show it. Anger, sadness. So you should not overdo it. You do it in front of your family members, in front of your friends. But when you are in the social arena where people are connected to you in the way of work, when people are connected to you in a formal manner, so you must understand the difference here. Body posture, another important aspect in our body language. Attitude of a person in the position of body. If you slouch your body, how would you feel? If you're talking to a person and instead of being active, that person is slouching only, then that person is a bit bent and showing no interest in you, would you like it? You would definitely get to know that the person is not at all listening to you, or he or she is not at all taking interest in that. Albert Mehrabian's work on posture has shown that attitudes and status are reflective in our stances. Stances means our postures, the way we stand, the way we erect our body. So there are basically 2 major types. The third one is lying posture, which is not so important because that most of the times that we do in a personal space. So standing posture and sitting posture are the 2 which we use in public and which are to be studied minutely. Standing posture, see, poor posture and good posture, you can see the difference. If you are in public, you always need to have a stance which is straight, not stiff but straight. A balanced upright posture is this. Sitting postures, see, whether you're nervous, whether you are overconfident, whether you are fine with the work, you must possess a certain area of your chair so that it should balance the screen where you sit, where you're working it. If you will just be adapted, as you've studied adapters, right? If you try to bend on one side or the other side, then this would give the sign of being inactive. So the correct sitting posture is the way you can see on your screen. This is how you need to sit while just talking, while just I would say doing some task, or even if you're talking to somebody. This is the correct posture you need to adapt to. Now, here are just some examples of effective postures, standing and sitting. If you are in public, you can definitely practice these while reading these, like thumbs out here when you are a dominant, in a dominant position. When you are showing self-control or you are thinking something, then the other position, fig leaf is there, fig leaf, sorry. Arms out. Arms out when you are discussing something or you are in a position that people would come taking your counsels. Then a table lean is again showing authority. You must have seen even sometimes in your companies, in your colleges, in schools, or in any other public meetings you have been to. Lean on is casual, just unthreatened, casual, normal. Then the sitting postures. Sitting posture. When the person is reserved or defensive or in a thoughtful mood, arms up. That is the posture. Then arms and legs crossed when the person is unconvinced. Lean forward when the person is ready to either see what you have to show to them or ready to listen to you. Lean back is confident, superiority. A boss would sit like this, that he knows that, okay, I know better than you, in this way. Lint picking is disapproval basically. You would get to know, if you are able to read the body language of others minutely, then you will be able to understand what the person wants to convey. Whether it is approval, disapproval, whether it is appreciation, whether it is just a doubt, a speculation, you can easily understand it, and this would definitely give you self-confidence. If you always be dependent upon others to tell you through words what they want to say, this would never ever help you in your life. If you want to get success, learn to read which is not spoken through body language. Now, the other ones which are the important aspects of body language, vocalics or tone of voice. See, tone of voice matter a lot. If I'm talking to you, my motto is to make you understand what I am saying. So I would be a bit slow, moderate pitch would be there, and my words would be slow. My pace would be slow. But it would not be that slow in a way like a separate group from body language. I would not use it this way. But if you want to learn pronunciation and I want you to learn each and every word and understand each and every word I spoke, then I would be slow. And if I am not making you understand with the help of a PPT, I'm just talking in front of you all, then I would be a bit fast. So it matters where you are talking, which medium you are using, and for what purpose you are talking. For teachers, especially, their tone of voice, the intonation matter a lot. Like when they're talking to a class, shouting and speaking loudly, both are different. There should not be shrills in your voice. Even if you are shouting, you are speaking loudly in the class, there should be authority in your voice, not the shrill shouts. Don't do this. Don't overdo this. This will just ruin each and everything, because once body language is observed, people will keep it forever. They would not forget that. They will judge you by that, and you cannot stop that. So work on these things. Your loudness, your breathing. Breathing is natural. Even if I am talking, even if I am just recording something, I'm talking, I would breathe somewhere. I need to just control here and there, but not everywhere. I need to take that also. I need to breathe also. So I should not take it that, oh, I did a mistake. No, that is natural. I'm a human being, not a robot. Then your pitch of voice, where to raise voice, where to lower the tone, that is the main thing which we need to work upon. And that comes when you rehearse a lot. See, if you really want to improve it now, you need to just rehearse for a few days, not every day. Just rehearse, and this will be a part of your personality. This will be a part of your work. You would attain it, imbibe it. naturally. You need not do it intentionally. So work on these things. This is very important part. Proxemics, the another body language aspect which we need to understand. Edward Hall pioneered this, and he talked about the spatial needs of the person, not the special, spatial, space, from the word space. What exactly this is, that how much intimate you are with the person. For example, if you and your colleague, you are just colleagues, and that person somewhere is feeling demotivated or discouraged, to what particular arena in his surroundings you would be able to talk to that person. You cannot directly go and pat on the back of that person that, oh, it's okay, no problem at all. No, you cannot do it. You need to maintain the respective distance. You need to talk from there only, and if you maintain it, then only your message would be conveyed in a proper way. So there are 4 different space categories: the intimate zone, the personal zone, the social zone, and the public zone. If we talk about the intimate zone, when people who are emotionally close to us, they are allowed to enter this zone. If we are crying, they will come and they will just comfort us in many ways. Personal, like just a one handshake away. This distance you would stand during friendly gatherings. Like in your personal zone, you can talk about your cousins or your friends you meet in the family or all. They would not directly jump up to you and hug you. Oh, no. They would just shake hands with you or just exchange smiles and just talk of relevant material, and that's it. Social zone. As far as your social zone is concerned, this is for those people whom you do not know so well. You must have exchanged glances here and there in your office or somewhere, but personally you do not have any connection to them. You might know their name or even not. So that is the social zone. And the public zone is like when the distance where you feel comfortable when addressing a big group. Right. Here we are talking in a public zone. We personally do not know each other. So here is a respective distance, and here is a respective repo which needs to be maintained. So the public zone, to people you talk to in the webinars, in the seminars, in the workshops, so that is the public zone. So you just understand this reference, so you would never be able to misjudged by others. Haptics. Haptics is related to touch. So touch is the first type of nonverbal communication we experience as humans. We use touch to show feelings and relational meanings. Here I would like to mention the touch of mother. Your mother will just pat on your back and caresses your head and give you blessings. Same will your father while giving you blessings. So the touch depicts the emotions. You are connected with the people. Everybody cannot do this to you. Some people will only shake hands. So that is a way to judge whether the good touch or bad touch it is there. So here are some types of touchings which are just identified by a person, Michael Agro. See, types of touching: patting, slapping, punching, pinching, stroking, shaking, kissing, licking, holding, guiding, embracing, linking, laying on, kicking, grooming, tickling. So here are the body parts which are involved. Some of these touchings are formal, some of these are public, some are personal. So we just need to understand the pattern here. If we do it, if we understand it, we are definitely able to control our gestures and yes, definitely maintain the respective distance. Now, OCULESICS, eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most important part of your non-verbal behavior, because this is the main, I would say, gesture which would either make you strong or just break you. No way. Look me in the eye when you say that. Why do people say this? Because they believe that eyes never lie. This is a myth, of course. This is not the case, that people having a firm eye contact would only be speaking truth, because a liar would definitely be good in just modifying his eye contact. And on the other hand, sometimes you just talk and you start looking here and there, and people take it in a wrong notion. So this is not the right way to do it. Our eyes signals so many things, and we must understand that minutely. We cannot misjudge the person only with this, that the person is not able to make an eye contact. Oh, that person is lying, or oh, that person is not a good one. No, no, don't do this. They can show the nervousness of the person, they can show the interest of the person. So here can be many interpretations to that. Don't take it otherwise. Eye contact is important when you are making public relations, when you are talking to somebody. Then eye contact, if you have firm eye contact from both the sides, then definitely it would it would provide you with better results. And if there is a public meeting and you are looking at the person, that person would definitely try to maintain an eye contact with all of you, and that would speak of his confidence and your interest. So this needs to be worked upon. Eye contact should be natural. It should not look like a stare, that you're staring at the person. You are looking at the person in a firm manner, and your eye contact, at the time of your maintaining of eye contact, what you need to do is you need to look at the person's eyes, not his lips or neck or anywhere else. That is very important in modern world. Otherwise, you can be, definitely your behavior can be misinterpreted. So think in that way. Smile. This is the shelf, I believe, that if you have a smile on your face and you have a calm attitude, then it is a signal of submission, and it is contagious one. Science has also proved that the more you smile, the more positive reactions others will give you. If you're talking to a person and that person just has a rigid attitude, no smile at all, no emotion at all, then you would not like to talk to that person once again. Rather, you would just pass on some comments, and those would be really unwelcoming ones. So regular smiling is very important, especially when you are in public, when you are talking, because only with this the person would be able to engage in your talk. Now we would just learn about the 5 basic principles of reading body language. So these 5 basic principles are 5 C's: cues, clusters, changes, character, and context. Now what are these? First of all, I would talk about the cues. Cues, otherwise the literal meaning of cues is hints. Our body compensates for words, our body gives hints to that. So try to understand the emotional hints from the face. Relational means what the person is talking, is it related to that? Attraction cues, power cues. There are different type of hints our body gives when we talk. From our eyes, this is all reading through gestures. The gestures you've just read about, understand those gestures. You would take hints from how the person is talking. Try to analyze it properly. Clusters. Try to see movements in combination. What does it mean is that don't study the movements separately. Make it a combination. Not just see the eye contact of the person, or try to look at the whole face and the hand movements and how the person is talking, body. Just make a combination of it. Now changes. If you really want to see the change, what is the change? Try to watch the whole movie. Here it means that try to understand that the person, if you know that person beforehand, then you can easily get to know the changes in the body language of that person, and try to just synthesize all those changes, that whether the person is now overconfident or whether the person is now submissive. Has he changed, or he has the changed behavior? Why? So then you will be able to get the answer to your whys. Character. Habitual activities. As I've just said that some people have signature gestures, right? If you know that, so you would definitely know that this is the habitual activity of this person. For example, your boss. We all somewhere, somehow, with whom we are working, we understand their habitual activities, that this is their habit. They do like this. They do in this way only. So this is the character. Understand that. And the context. See, body language can never be studied without context. The way I am behaving with my family, I would be different with public. And the way I behave with my mother, I would be different when I would talk to my teacher or my boss. So understand the context, the location, the situation, and the surroundings of the person's body language. Your body language is different to all the people you meet, to all the people you come across. That you can notice in your own body language. If it is the same, then there is a fault. You need to work upon it. This is not same with everyone. So understand these 5 C's properly. Next, these are the techniques, formal techniques with which you can notice somebody's body language. Those 5 C's, as I already said, that can be studied using the scan method. Try to select and identify the different body language elements first of all, and those 5 C's I said, just calibrate, collect all those 5 basic principles. Try it once, twice, try it in levels. You would be able to maintain it. Once you have attained this kind of behavior, then you would definitely be an expert in this. Then analyze. Try to analyze and then note down. It has a proper pattern to follow. You can see it in a routine life. You don't need to have a copy or a piece of paper or pen with you all the time to do the scan method. But yes, you can just pick up. You can try to notice eye contact of the person. Try to understand the facial expressions of the person. Then evaluate the gestures or the stance, whether it is a confident one or it is an timid one, whether the person is confident or whether the person is not confident. Then consider proxemics and haptics, that whether the person is taking a proper space which is required as per his relation to the person, or he is just doing something over. He's overdoing his emotions. So you would easily be able to maintain that. Work upon these techniques. This would definitely help you. Now there are the 6 techniques with which you can have your body language really attractive. As far as your face is concerned, make an animated face. Animated doesn't mean the animation you understand. No. Make your face show emotions, expressions. Smiling. Make smile a part of your face when you're talking to public, right? And just try to be lively while talking. Your face should be live when you are talking. It should not be withered one, that you or your words are saying something else and your face is just showing a kind of sleepiness or a kind of inactiveness on your face. Don't do this. Try to let your face talk along with your words. Gestures. Be expressive, but don't overdo the things, as I have said throughout the webinar, that don't overdo your gestures, but use your gestures. Try to keep your hands closed. If you are not good at controlling your gestures, you can do only this thing, that try to control your hands, your fidgeting or feet crossing. Be natural, be normal, be straight. This would help you. Head movement. Use triple nods when talking and head tilt when listening. Keep your chin up. Don't put your chin down. That is a sign that you're least interested. Eye contact. Give the amount of eye contact that makes everyone feel comfortable, not uncomfortable. Make yourself presentable with your eye contact. Don't do that the other person might think that you're flirting with him or her, or the other person would feel uncomfortable. Don't do this. In different cultures, eye contact pertains to, but a firm and natural eye contact is required and desired everywhere. Posture. Lean forward when listening and stand straight when speaking. So this is a very simple and subtle behavior you can do when you are in public. Why in public only? It is in family also. You can do the same way. Territory is again related to your proxemics, that understand the place, stand as close as you feel comfortable or make the other person feel comfortable. If other person moves back, then don't step forward. That means that person is not comfortable, so you stay there only. Mirror. Subtly mirror the body language of others. See, as we say, what you want for yourself, try to give to other selves. Similarly, if you want to judge others' body language, do it for yourself also. Try to understand the body language of other person. Why the other person is doing something in that way or not in that way, this way. So understand this difference. Never try to project negative remarks or comments on others. If you do possess the same in your body language, work upon these things. This would definitely help you out. So these are the key body language which are receiver friendly that you can pick up and practice one by one. You can make your own videos and see, or you can just watch in a mirror and understand how to practice these. How do you look when you behave like this? This would definitely make you a changed person. So a leader synchronizes all three, his actions, words and gestures, to leave a legacy and be followed. Just learn this, imbibe this quote, and you would definitely feel change in your body language if you try to practice whatever is discussed today in this webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.